Hello. Welcome to this. Well, I usually say welcome to this YouTube overflow, but this is not overflow. I am mixing up all of the different things. I usually say Patreon overflow, but this is for YouTube, so interesting. Yeah, there could be, I'm actually starting this at 222, so there could be some sort of like coming together or balance taking place in terms of like maybe multiple, I just heard mixed media in my head, or multiple streams of income, multiple projects that are like coming to a convergence point, like there's something integrating, which I have all of these other, the music I have on in the background literally just, this keeps happening when I open up to different recordings. I'll have background music on and then it will like switch. Okay, when I push record or like at some point synchronistically throughout the recording. So I had on a subliminal and it just switched to a 432 hertz frequency, heals all damage of body and soul, melatonin release, eliminate stress. Yeah. The visual actually is, it's really beautiful. And there's an emphasis on colors, like violet, pink, green, maybe like an aqua. And then there's like a feminine, like a female body arched with like her arms out, and it reminds me of like the plasma body. It's like an opaque white color of the body, and then there's like these emanations in the center of like circular pulses. And it's really interesting this came out because it reminds me of like the last few transmissions I've recorded for YouTube, one of them being about the plasma body, this new octave of consciousness, that seemed to be like visually coming through this frequency video. Okay. Few other things that I wanted to sort of tap in. I'm toasting something and whoa, is it toasted? So yeah, metaphorically, I feel like I just heard an expression in my head, stick a fork in me, I'm done, or something like that. I always mess up metaphors or idioms and phrases, but yeah, that's not something I would say, but I heard it, and it's like, it almost feels like something, yeah, I'm hearing like pressurized pressure cooker, and I'm being shown like the diamond sun crystalline DNA, and then the connection of an actual diamond being, you know, pressured deep in the darkness to be formed. So it feels like perhaps there's something you've been working on. It's going to be different for everyone. I'm not even going to try and pinpoint right now, just if it comes through, that feels like it's ready to be revealed or showcased in some way. And it's interesting because I had written down right before, maybe like half an hour before I started to record, something about recently in the last few recordings on YouTube or the transmissions, I was speaking on like dormant DNA, dormant emotionality, maybe dormant subconscious desires, etc. Just something like that's been hidden. I was speaking on the kidneys and how the kidneys can represent like our deepest emotional desires, you know, coming to the forefront. And it feels like it started like in the, I just got like a really intense feeling in my left, sort of like the left temple, but a little bit more above the left eyebrow. So yeah, some sort of like gateway has been opening. And I know this is timeless, but when I'm recording it, there's a lot of talk about the planetary alignments right now, so that could be relevant for someone. But like, yeah, this gateway that's been opened, and now my right eye is twitching. So much is going on. Hold on. I just heard in my head the Hellllo frequency. I will explain that in a few moments, but I just wanted to say that because it's a personal connection that I've developed to whatever you want to call it, like the angelic realms, the angelic aspects of my own monad and soul stream. So I just wanted to say that because that could be something that also you yourself may either have been working on or called to work on or will start in the near future. Let's see. So yeah, I had written down over the last few weeks of that, hidden emotionality starting to come to the surface, and now it seems like it's coming through which feels quite fast, into the physical realms in some way, whether it's in the form of a relationship, an opportunity. I'm hearing golden opportunity, or taking some sort of inspired action that leads to this. Again, it's going to be different for each person, and it could be in multiple areas of life for some people. Ooh, excuse me, big release happening. Now the right eye twitch. I just saw red. I was looking through the blinds at the clouds, and I just saw like a red light or a red frequency like come in. So I'm going to look up red eye twitch. Red eye? Maybe someone here is having like red eyes or something. I meant to say right eye. Or maybe that's something that you've been like, this will be very specific. Maybe someone here is having red eyes and like you came up with something or have been doing something to help like self-heal that. So that could be for some of you. And then also metaphorically, red eyes could be showing like some sort of, just like stress release or something. Oh, I heard conjunctivitis. If anyone has that, I send love to you. But yeah, it could be different for each person. I was guided to read the first Google search for right eye twitch meaning. In many spiritual traditions, a twitching right eye is often interpreted as a sign of good luck, positive change, or upcoming good news. Oh, that's great. Signifying a potential shift or transformation in one's life. Sometimes associated with receiving positive information or encountering a new opportunity. That's like literally what I was just saying. That's so great. While the left eye twitch talks more about like maybe something opposite of that. So yeah, there could be like opposing inner conflicts that have been being resolved recently. And again, this could be like something you've been working on for a while, but it feels like there's been this like shift or breakthrough within some sort of like inner conflict. I know that I'm also experiencing this, so yeah. It's funny that red eyes are coming up because I was dog sitting this weekend, and one of the dogs, they're both dogs, they're so beautiful. They are mini Shiba Inus, Japanese dogs, and the one dog like kept looking like his eyes were red in certain lighting. Yeah, so infrared, red light can be significant. Maybe someone's working with that or feeling called to. But interestingly, I was also speaking on skin lately and maybe having some sort of skin purge that's been coming through the last few weeks, peeling skin. And maybe about a month or two ago, I kept getting snake symbolism like repeatedly, and I did talk about it in one of the recordings, so it would probably be around like late December, early January. So if you want to go back, there might be a message. I don't remember exactly which recording, but it would be in that time frame. So you can just trust where you're led if that's calling you. But I was talking really heavily about snake symbolism, and I didn't realize that we were coming up, we just had the year of the dragon, in 2024, and 2025 is actually the year of the snake, which the wood snake specifically, and Portal to Ascension is, if you're not familiar, like there are a lot of things, but they host many online, both paid and complimentary presentations, workshops, channeling events, all sorts of things. And they do it in person and also mostly through their Portal to Ascension. Why can't I think of the word? I guess it's considered a website. Whatever it is, they have like a whole community. And anyway, they just did a Year of the Snake presentation with multiple speakers, including Bridget Renee Holiday, who I've mentioned her before, and I will link this below if it's something that calls to you. It was a free event, and I believe they have the replay on YouTube. If so, I can post it. But I didn't listen to the whole thing yet, but synchronistically, multiple things, when I literally just jumped on for like a few moments, there were so many synchronicities. And like I said, I didn't watch the whole thing, but they do a lot of a deep dive and different perspectives from, like I said, different speakers on this upcoming year, 2025. But it's not just focused on this year. But yeah, I just wanted to shout that out because it came through. So yeah, and Bridget is someone who, you know, throughout my own experiences over the years, last couple years, I've had some sessions with her probably around like 2021. And they were just so helpful for me. And yeah, I just really wanted to support her in any way I could. Anyway, so when I was talking about the snake symbolism, it was like, I remember because I was dog sitting over the New Year. So it was like, yeah, December 31st, January 1st, 2nd, like that time frame. And now that I realize it is the year of the snake, it makes sense that was coming through so strongly. And this like collective ascension that a lot of us are speaking on, and this collective Kundalini movement and activation. So when I was speaking on some of the skin irritants and I was seeing that red frequency come through, it reminded me of the root and the earth star energy centers. And particularly, this is so funny because I was looking up, I don't even remember what I was looking up today, to be honest. And not to be like overly well, I'm just going to say it, constipation and or like excessive release in that area, or like in a sort of like maybe constipation one day and then super release the next few days. There could be something going on in like the bowels and the solar area. There could be specifically inner thighs could be releasing some sort of purge on your skin. I know those are very specific. It will be different for everyone. But yeah, on my research, I found this like Reddit post, and so interesting. It's from, let's see, he calls himself Swami Jaideep, Enlightened Mystic, Kundalini and Spiritual Awakening. And he was answering someone's question. And one of the things that he talks about, it was very synchronistic for me because I was experiencing something and I knew it was also a collective energy. So, of course, the year of the snake that's being spoken of currently, and again, this like collective Kundalini movement, awakening, ascension, integrating this next octave, of consciousness. So I'm going to read a little bit of what he wrote because I'm feeling called to. Ooh, okay. And for anyone who's unfamiliar, I do often burp or release energy through my throat, and you may hear a lot of different people who tune into collective energy experience the same. There's like this gnat or fly. As soon as I started to open the container, it was like flying around me, and now it's just continues to do so. So maybe there's a little bit of irritants happening right now, or a little bit of irritation, a little bit of distraction. Yeah, I just heard, like, I was actually talking about this on Patreon last week. It's like part of the process sometimes, you know, and of course we can dive deeper into those when we feel called, and other times, you know, especially in the moment when it's happening, like I'm hearing just coming back to your breath and sort of feeling through it. And then when you have time, of course, you can dive a bit deeper if you're feeling called. For some of you, it may be just like ripples. So like, let's say you purged or cleared something, and this is sort of just like the energy like sorting itself out. And for others of you, it may be a call to go deeper in that timing that suits you. And if anyone, of course, wants assistance with that or has any questions, feel free to ask or reach out. Okay, so the response, or the question was, it was specific about gastric problems, but it doesn't only focus on that. Can gastric problems continue long after Kundalini awakening? How do you work on solar plexus? That was the question. And the response, there are 3 Granthis, Granthis, psychic knots. These are called Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra, and then parenthesis, Mahesh or Shiva. These Granthis are opened in, and if I'm saying that incorrectly, I apologize, are opened in sequence as follows. When first root chakra meets sacral, this opens the Brahma, I didn't mean to say Brahma Granthi. During this ascension, one will have skin problems along the inner thighs area. So I'm being shown like the earth grids as well as like the Kundalini. I'm using that phrase for now because it's coming through, or that word, that term. But it feels like there's like a mirroring of the physical vessel as well as the earth grids. So movement can be happening, like maybe someone's feeling called to travel soon, whether that's physically astral travel, or maybe you just have, for some of you it will be temporary, for some of you it will be more nomadic, you know, it will be different for everyone. For some of you it will be like an actual move. I'm seeing Hawaii for someone. But after the ascension, all the problem will become mild but remain. Now, for me, like when I had that inner thigh experience, it's like completely gone now. So just know, like, you know, always take what feels good for you. But I don't always agree that it just remains. It's, you know, it's going to be different. And then it says when 5th chakra, throat chakra, meets the 3rd eye, this opens Rudra Granthi. From now onwards, all your problems will be gone. And again, please take all this with a grain of salt. Because you become master of your mind and all the problems are caused by the mind, every problem will be removed magically. Now, I also would like to offer, in addition to this, is a perspective shift. So it's not that, you know, you won't encounter, in my opinion, of course, that you won't encounter maybe obstacles or perceived problems, but the way that you handle them, or that it sort of is looked at, maybe won't feel like problems. You know, maybe something a past version of you considered an obstacle or a problem and felt, you know, irritated by it or something. It may come in a different way, where instead of looking at it as a problem, it's more now like an opportunity, you know, an opportunity for growth, for expansion, to redirect, to take a pause, etc. So, yeah. It also talks about high blood pressure, gallbladder, kidney stones, which is interesting because I kept talking about the kidney recently, jaundice, eyesight, diabetes, skin problems, neuroses, depressions, etc. And then he says why. And then with Rudra, Granthi, opening the sensory system works directly with sensory outlets, eyes, nose, ears, and tongue, without the mediator, i.e. conscious mind. To work with solar plexus, you need to make changes to your diet, and then it goes on to say certain things. Work on your emotional distress by praying or meditating. Now, I did share that because of the serious synchronistic experience with the inner thigh release and Kundalini that's been coming up, and then some belly discomfort, and then also all the movement through the throat and the third eye. It's like very reflective. So, but I did also just want to add that when it comes to any of the changes that anyone recommends, I think this is a time for a lot of us who are on this sort of collective ascension path to really, of course, like when things show up for us, to really sit with yourself and see like if it is for you or it isn't for you. And, like sort of really deepening that inner trust and doing your best to continue like transcending comparison and this is something I've been personally experiencing and going through as well. Like any doubt or comparison or thinking you need to do something because someone else told you. Now, that doesn't mean we can't take advice from others. And, when we ask for things, it can show up in the form of, advice or guidance from external. But it's really about checking internally and, just sort of weighing through that, I guess you can say. I took a pause when I was doing a little moon gazing this week. I wasn't moon gazing at first. Sometimes I just do it in passing. Like I used to do it way more concentrated, and when I have moments I still do, but sometimes it's just now a part of, if I'm outside, even if I'm sort of in motion, I tune into that moon connection or lunar connection. Of course, that goes with all the celestial bodies. But in particular, the moon has been showing up a lot lately. And I saw this like flash of light in the corner of my eye. And when I looked at the moon, I saw like a ray of light come down, and I heard like moon magic. So yeah, there's something about tapping into, of course, when I think of the moon, like lunar rituals, priest and priestess traditions could be something that's coming through for you, ceremonial practices, and or things that you've done with this in the past are starting to come to fruition. So it will be different for each person, but the idea of like feminine integration, masculine integration, just embodiment is also something I'm hearing. So yeah, this could also just be a confirmation if you're already doing this, any sort of moon magic or lunar practices, rituals that, it's effective. I just started hearing a conversation about like cost-effective Dala analysis. Why can't I say this word? Dallas could be significant for someone. I was trying to say data analysis. I'm not sure why this is coming through, but it could be for someone. Cost-effective. I don't know, maybe someone is works in that field, or maybe we're just having a conversation about this, however it could apply. Let's see. Tantric principles or practices, utilizing creative and sexual energy for rejuvenation, renewal, working with the physical body and some of the the mana, the prana, the sexual release, taking it inward. These are things that could be coming up, or things that you've been practicing or feeling called to play with. Of course, depending on your physical anatomy it could work a little differently for men and women. So there could be a deepening of understanding these things. And of course, this has been coming up a lot lately, like syncing with like the lunar calendar or the Mayan calendar or the sundial has been coming through so much lately. So there could be something about that. I do plan on going deeper with that at points. So if anyone's interested, let me know. Okay, let's see here. Actually on Patreon, I'll probably go into some of the deeper Mayan calendar, the lunar connection, and some of the Hellantic perspectives on this collective ascension, as well as some of the Thoth and Maya Nartumid. I've been referencing her. Some of these connections have been coming through really strongly, and in fact, one of the, I believe in my last recording on YouTube, I was speaking on some of the channeling that came through Maya Nartumid and the Thoth teachings or channelings, however you'd like to label it, and they were speaking on the bridging of quantum physics and geometry, sacred geometry. And interestingly, that was coming through for me for a while. And then when I was listening to A Portal to Ascension, the Year of the Snake presentation, someone was speaking about, I can't remember which person, it might have been Geraldine Orizako, if I'm saying her name correctly, and how I believe it was her, and how the, I'm just checking my notes. Yes, okay. Geometric signature in the body starts to form the more we, heal and purge through the subconscious mind, through the pain body, sort of bridging the subtle bodies, the astral, the emotional, up to like the Rasha body, all the dark matter template, all the way to the cellular, the molecular structures, the rearranging of the auric field of the molecular structure and how it expresses, etc. So when she was speaking on Geraldine Orizako, again, if I'm mispronouncing her name, my apologies, but she was saying that the geometric signature in the body through this healing starts to take place. And there's someone else on YouTube who I listen to sometimes. I think she calls herself Nordic Light Tarot, and she was saying, I think she's based in Sweden, and she was saying something like, oh, I don't know why I'm seeing this, but there's triangles like that are going to be forming through your, like, the third eye area, through the throat and the crown. Like there's going to be this triangular connection. And I was also talking so much lately about the Golden Council Triangle of Light that came through for me quite some time ago, and how, of course, when we talk about the reflection of the higher realms being anchored in to our physical vessel and the energetic signature expressing through sacred geometric shapes. And I was also bringing through information about the Taurus, and that's Taurus, and how our auric field becomes more like a Taurus when we tune into these higher frequencies and start to embody and integrate. So yeah, I will probably go deeper with this in the extended on Overflow Patreon as well. And I remember, like, right before I listened to the transmission or the Year of the Snake presentation from Portal to Ascension, I was asking the connection between, like, harmonic geometric structure. Like, why is all of this geometry, quantum physics, like how it expresses in the body? And then I was, of course, guided to listen to this, which the Portal to Ascension presentation speaking on this, and I was reminded at one of my beginning transmissions on YouTube, I believe it's labeled Geometric Waterfall. So yeah, there could be something in there as well. So anyway, this could be something that you have been also integrating or tapping into, whether it's conscious or subconscious. You may start seeing like remnants of this geometric expression in your auric field showing up for you in different ways. It could look different for everyone. Even if it's something as simple as like you've been doodling shapes lately, like there's just some sort of connection that will be in your external world to show you that this is going on in your internal and your own auric expression or energy signature. Okay. So that brings me to the web of light. I also there's so many different references that I've already recorded. I believe I did call it the web of light. It was something about web in my YouTube transmission quite a few months back that's also coming up. But so the other night I was walking these dogs, and I was in the middle of the street, and somehow I got caught in this web. There was just like this spider web that was like from like shoulder to shoulder, just like a string, and it took me like 2 blocks to get it fully off of myself. And of course I said, I like tuned in and I said, thank you, like what is trying to be shown to me, etc. And then over the next few days, and including that night, I was guided to put on a show. And I heard a random episode in my head. It was like season 3, episode 2. And then boom, as soon as I put it on, it was like talking about, it mentioned a spider and a web. So it was very synchronistic. But anyway, the web of light. Yeah, so I looked up the significance, like a spiritual meaning of walking into a spider web, and the first thing that popped up was, actually I'd never seen this before, it was referencing Thailand and Japanese culture, and that walking into a spider web in Thailand can signify meeting a new friend, and then Japan, it's like meeting a new friend like that day. So yeah, the web of light, multidimensional community or multidimensional community weaving is something that I speak about a lot, or I have written on a lot of my like my YouTube intro and things like this. And so now I'm just being shown like the idea of one of my intentions for creating this YouTube channel was weaving multidimensional community, or community multidimensional weaving. And so, yeah, it's something about coming together of, just that. So, of course, it'll be different for everyone, but there could be this, new person, new people, new spirit team coming online, or new additions or octaves to the way you communicate with your spirit team coming through, as well as, deepening with the elements, animals, again, it will be different for each person, humans, etc. Now, the next morning after looking this up, I went to a cafe, and this woman, there were 3 people actually that sat at the community table where I was. And they were talking about, it's funny because a lot of people in the cafe, if I hear them in this specific cafe, there's a lot of people doing work and more business stuff. And these 3 people just seemed like sort of, if you will, tapped into another frequency. And they were talking about like death and what happens with death and the symbology of death. And of course, when I went to look over, the person who sat next to me, she had this huge spider web, huge, tattooed on her elbow with like a spider that was connecting to it. And I was like, oh, I love this synchronicity. I didn't wind up speaking to them, but I'm sure there was some sort of energetic exchange. But anyway, so yeah, it's like there's something about like your external world starting to show up of what's been happening internally. And, you know, if you're someone who's already been really experiencing this for a while, there will be just another deepening or another layer to that. You know, each person may be somewhere different. And I know I keep saying that, so I don't want to have to keep repeating myself, but just know that like when I'm tuning into the collective that I feel connected to, and if you're drawn to this, like I just try to bring forth possible scenarios depending on where you personally are. Okay. So I don't think that is the last of the web. There's so much to come through for the spider web and the spider beings multidimensionally, you know, in this realm and others. But yeah, I do talk more about that, like I said, on the, I think I labeled it Web of Light. I'll have to look. So if you're drawn to that, there could be some more web communications. And spiders and or webs can also be used as signs or synchronicities coming forward, or that have been used for you as like what people call like soul family coming in, or again like on track to meeting someone or reuniting with someone. Like there could be, oh, my ears just pressure shifted as I said that. So yeah. I don't know, I just heard congratulations are in order. Congratulations. I feel like this has come through the last few transmissions, or at least one of them. So yeah, there's just like a reaffirming of that. Maybe you're someone who's been practicing like affirmations or reaffirming things to yourself. There's something about like being seen or feeling heard, feeling seen. So that could be coming up for you as well. Yeah, I keep getting like in multiple areas of life. And again, or it could be a deepening of this. Okay, so this little mini, very small tarot deck my friend gifted me. Thank you so much. If you ever listen to this, you will know who you are. Because I'm always like on the move kind of, and it's just so tiny, so I can carry it with me even when I'm moving around a lot. Anyway, so I pulled a few cards the other day, 3 cards, and I was asking like any collective energy that wanted to come out. Really, it was just an excuse to play with the deck because it was so cute and tiny. And like I said, 3 cards came out. And it's funny because those 3 people, like there's obviously something, the triangle has been coming through so strongly. So yeah, 3s can be significant, which is also Empress energy. The Empress didn't come out, but that could be significant. Creative energy, etc. Working with sacred geometry. There's just like so much information coming through, and yeah, if there's anything I mention and I don't go too deep with, like I always say, please feel free to comment and ask, and I will do my best to like go deeper as I get a feel for the requests for this. Okay, so I just saw 44 on the timer, and it's 3:07, which for me is like the connection to Metatron. So someone here could be working with Metatron or the Metatronic reversals. I'm also hearing like from a Kelentic science perspective, Metatron's actually like a collective, not just a being. So you could be tapping into, and the sun just got really bright as I said that. Yeah, I just saw also 3911. For some reason that feels significant. Back to the tarot. So what came out was, let's see, I have it right here. The Magician reversed, which one of the interpretations is that you can feel unsure about what to do, or you may be facing deception or manipulation. And it could also indicate that your goals may not be aligned with your highest good. So, very interesting. So someone here, this could be like a past energy, or it could be something that you are currently coming out of. And this is a very specific message for someone. If you feel like things have sort of slowed down all of a sudden, there's an opportunity to take for a reassessment. And of course, what also came out, I'm just remembering, is the Hanged Man and Judgment. Of course, the Hanged Man can represent a state of surrender, sacrifice, letting go, often signifying the need to pause and look at a situation from a new perspective and embrace change by potentially giving something up to gain something greater in the long run. It can also symbolize introspection, gaining wisdom through a period of suspension or waiting. Yeah, so it sort of feels like the Magician reversed, the Hanged Man is like what has been the current energy, and then what's coming in is Judgment, which can often signify a moment of renewal, awakening, a call to self-reflection, representing life change or a fresh start, where one must confront past actions and embrace new beginnings. It often symbolizes a time to forgive oneself and move forward with a renewed perspective. Right, so the painting of that picture, the Magician reversed, of course, not feeling aligned with something, then the Hanged Man, that perspective shift. And of course, this doesn't have to be linear. It could be just like the energy that's been coming through, and then Judgment, the renewal, awakening, call to self-reflection, a call to honesty with yourself. Now, the funniest part about this experience that I found so funny was I pulled these 3 cards and I was like, okay, let me just take a note of this, and etc. But I felt like there was another card to come through, but I feel like I can't remember exactly what happened. Either I got distracted or I don't know, I put the deck away. And so I thought that was over, that reading was done. But I did feel like, there's one more, but then again, I can't remember what happened. So then a few minutes later, I went to go take a shower and, I'm getting in the shower, getting everything ready. Now these cards are really tiny, like they can fit on your fingertip. And I look down and I see something like stuck on my body, and I'm like, what is that? It was a little mini tarot card. And I love it because I had just gotten it wet because I was standing under the faucet or whatever it's called, the shower head. And it was the Temperance card, which didn't even come out in the reading. So it's funny, I just saw 2 zeros on the timer. 4300, which 43 for me is like a number that connects me to like divine union, which I've been getting so many messages about that I feel like it deserves its own transmission. So if that's something you're interested in, you can look out for that, because I will do a separate transmission for that. But I love how it just weaved itself in so orchestrated divinely that I didn't even have to force that message out. Zeros, that 0 point field, the Fool, new beginnings, etc. Okay, so so there was a fourth energy coming in that I didn't see. I didn't even ask for it, even though I felt it, and it showed up anyway in the form of Temperance in the shower. And the card did dry very well. It didn't even smudge, so that was nice. And Temperance can represent the concept of balance, moderation, harmony. It's usually depicted as a figure pouring liquid from one cup to another. So I love that it stuck to me and got wet, because that's so symbolic, and it signifies the need to find a middle ground and avoid extremes. So, and I just wanted to say, it's considered a major arcana card, often associated with the virtue of finding inner peace and stability. Now, I wanted to add in that this little mini tarot deck is all major arcana. So it's the 22 major arcana, and that's it. There's no like wands or cups or, any other minor arcana. Not minor arcana. Any other cards except the 22 major arcana. Anyway, so yeah, I just was shown the 8 of Cups in my mind's eye, which is generally like walking away from something that doesn't fulfill us anymore. So this could be what you've been sort of going through, like letting go of things that don't serve you, really, or what you're being called to do, like just trust and I'm sure you've heard this a million times, like trust, patience, and surrender. But again, there's something tempering, there's something coming into balance, which is exactly the energy I was feeling in the beginning. Okay. Yeah, there's also something about the cosmic enigma or the mystery. Of course, this can be like the mysteries of, the occult teachings, the esoterica, the mysteries of life. But there's also something about like that Fool energy that I was talking about, like literally trusting in, the enigma of the universal flow of the cosmos, or the omniversal flow. It's like sometimes, I was having a conversation with a friend, actually right before I was recording this, and after I had written this down, talking about the enigma and the mysteries, or the mysterious aspect of life. Of course, the High Priestess has been coming out a lot in my personal pulls, and it's all about like trusting your intuition. Of course, the archetype of the High Priestess or the High Priest, so the hidden, etc. So there's something about like if you feel yourself getting confused or frustrated or trying to figure something out before the time is right, there's something about just trusting the mysterious aspect of something and letting it be shown to you in, and I said, as soon as I said that, I just heard in divine timing as clarity emerges. The sun just got really bright through the shades of where I'm sitting. And so as I sit with that a little bit deeper, there's also something about now, of course, this is just my perspective, and that's all I can offer. But I feel like no matter how many dimensions we talk about integrating, no matter how many layers we peel back, or how many times we've astral traveled throughout the omniverse, I feel like there's always still this sense of mystery. And as soon as I said that, all these leaves just started to shake. It's like raining leaves as I look out the window and I can hear the tree. Yeah. So sometimes there's just a call to come back to that, and having fun with the mystery and having fun with not always needing to know what we think we need to know in that moment. And that's not, of course, to say just bury your head in the sand and let life happen to you and be a victim of your circumstances. But, there's a healthy, in my opinion, balance, or that middle road of knowing when it's called to go deeper with something, and other times to just trust that and embrace the mystery and the enigma. I feel like it's a really beautiful place to close. So I also feel like I have still so much more to say and bring through, but I will save it for the next transmission, and some of it for the overflow and Patreon. So if you feel called to join that, that's great. And if not, that's also great. All right, well, thank you. One more thing. I had something written down, and the show that I just rewatched a bit is The Good Place, if you're familiar with that. And as I was talking about embracing, I had written down, like I said, to talk about embracing the mystery. One of the episodes came on synchronistically, where one of the main characters, Kristen Bell, she's like, talking about essentially to Janet, who is, if you're not familiar, like supposed to be like I guess like AI, but she looks human in the show. Obviously, she's a human playing this, and over time in the show, she starts to become, more human-like the Janet, and then anyway, Kristen Bell asked, like, what's the great mystery of the universe? Like, why are we here? Like, what can you tell me about this? And Janet replies basically like, sure, I can regurgitate like cosmic information or universal truths, etc. She's like, but then it just becomes like a big giant food processor, like machinery just working itself through the cosmos type of thing, or expressing through like machinery, or I think she says like a big dumb food processor or something like that. And then she goes on to say, like, the more human I become, like the less things kind of make sense, but that because she's supposed to be like the all-knowing being in the universe and know everything there is to know, it's like she's still learning through mystery and emotion and the more humanness of things. And I just thought, it's just a TV show, sure, but sometimes these things come through when I'm tuned in to the collective energy or channeling or whatever it is. So yeah, I just wanted to share that because I just felt called to, and I felt like it was such a good way to depict like what I was sensing and feeling. So okay, that's all. Thank you.